Hey everyone, welcome to the Checkered Chat. I'm Justin,
Blake.
and we are here to recap the Mexico race for NASCAR and the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Great weekend overall. Like, that track I feel like was a pleasant surprise. Like, it was good. I mean, I kind of just thought it was going to be good in the first place, but it was better than I thought, for sure. After watching Xfinity on Saturday, I was like, yeah, they need to make this a regular thing if they can work the schedule out.
Yeah. They'll probably, work it around an off weekend or something if they do it again.
That's kind of what I've heard, is that it's kind of something that's going to be an off weekend either before or after.
They should do, Texas, Mexico off week.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense. Either Texas, or if you want to go back-to-back road courses, COTA.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think technically COTA is closer, but, I mean,
Probably.
it's, neither here nor there on that one. You're already
they're both closer than Michigan.
1,000%.
Like, almost Canada.
Yeah, no, I mean, the way the schedule laid out, it looked like that race should have been Montreal instead of Mexico.
Which I wonder, were they thinking that they were going to get Montreal?
I think that they probably had that thought and then,
Pivoted.
They probably got outbid.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, because it's, it was a...
Well, they couldn't have because of F1 ran...
Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
That would make sense. And shout out Corey LaJoy for thinking that it was only one guy who the track was named after, and his first name was Hermanos.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking idiot. Because it's after two brothers.
Yeah.
Hermanos is Spanish for brothers.
Yeah.
Like, what are you... Why would you even admit that?
Corey LaJoy for you folks.
Yeah, apparently can drive a truck.
Well...
Sort of.
Yeah. He can avoid a wreck.
He can avoid a wreck, at least. I mean...
He can't keep the lead, but...
I mean, driving good in Atlanta is... Half of it is just avoiding a wreck, so...
Oh, yeah, he will be running. No.
Oh, no, I'm just talking about Atlanta traffic, honestly. But then also Atlanta, true. Big facts there.
Yeah, they probably should have let him run that earlier this... Well, no, because Kyle Busch won, so never mind.
Yeah, no, because he wouldn't have won that race.
But you picked him to win Michigan. You don't think he can win?
I did pick him, but also that was the zinger week on picks.
That was for the memes.
That was a fun one.
Yeah.
We'll put it at that. But anyways, we'll get more into on-track action for Mexico. We got some news this week, some fun stuff, some not-so-fun stuff. Blake, you want to kick it off?
We'll start with the not-so-fun stuff. So, Hocevar is a Twitch streamer, on the side, and he is being fined $50,000, which is going to, I think, a few different charities in Mexico or something like that, for derogatory comments that he made about Mexico. Oops, clip it.
Clip it.
Yeah, while on his live stream, he called Mexico a shithole.
Yeah,
he apologized and everything and was like, I'd never been out of the country, this, that, the other. Like, it actually was really good. I probably never should have said anything. Yeah, you probably shouldn't have. But
yeah, I mean, he's young.
Yeah, I mean,
he's kind of in that whole meme culture.
Right.
So, I get it,
Like, seeing some of the clips of, what he says in Twitch streams are pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also going to have to do sensitivity training.
Mm-hmm.
Not the first time we've seen this for a driver.
No.
Kyle Busch had to do sensitivity training.
Kyle Larson had to do sensitivity training.
Kyle Larson had to do a lot.
He messed up bad.
He said the forbidden word.
Another Twitch streaming incident.
Yeah.
Funny enough. Anyways.
Can you hear me? Is my mic on?
Yeah. Just leave it
at that. If you know.
Leave it.
Oh, yeah. No, we're not finishing that one.
No. So the next thing I thought was pretty interesting. There was a lot of American fans who went to Mexico for this race.
Yeah.
But 90% of the fans at the Mexico race were Mexican locals, so from the country, and 44% were from Mexico City.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I noticed this in the crowd shots and everything. Like, the crowd was really young for the most part, which was pretty cool. And I mean, like, there was talks of, I think it was they said it on like the teardown or something at I think it was like one of the tweet ups or something, that there was like a guy there that, I think it was Jeff who talked to him, and he's like, yeah, I've been a NASCAR fan since the 90s, and this is the first time that I've been able to actually hear the engines in person. And I'm like, that's freaking insane, and that's so cool. And they're like, the next gen car is just so beautiful to see in person and everything, and it really kind of gives you a perspective, because we trashed the next gen car, and there's people who have been fans of the sport for 20 plus years who haven't even seen a race in person ever.
Right. Because I saw some tweets where people were like, I've been a fan since like NASCAR, I forget the name of the video games way back in the day, but like NASCAR 2001 or 2002. And then people were like, they've been fans since Gordon was in the 24 and early 2000s. And it was just cool to see, this isn't Rusty and Dale and, just Tony Stewart, and the list can go on, but it's still really cool to finally be able to see it.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It's cool to see that while, yes, it is still North America, the continent.
Yeah.
It looked like a pretty good global reach.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Because, they'd pan to the crowd, and I mean, mind you, it's at F1. It's at a F1 circuit, so it makes sense to see Red Bull stuff, to see Ferrari stuff, to see Mercedes stuff, because you saw a decent bit of that. But then there were people with just sweet Tony Stewart racing jackets, Coors Light jackets, all these, Rainbow Warrior jacket, all these really cool vintage NASCAR stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, you can argue that a lot of people that buy that kind of stuff may not even be fans of NASCAR, just because how in vintage everything is.
The Chase Authentics and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. About that, if you're the person on Mercari that is trying to sell the Jeff Gordon Jurassic Park ride shirt in an XL for $600, I can't even begin to tell you how mad I am just looking at that.
Justin will give you 60.
It's been on there for months.
Do you have it saved? Do you go back and look at it?
I think so. I want to say I have it saved because it's all over print. It looks dope.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
I want to say I sent it to you, but the price for some of this stuff that's I'm like, whoever bought it for $25 max.
Yeah.
At the most. I mean, a shirt at the track now costs $30.
That's probably a good average.
Average, give or take, depending on what you're getting.
Because you can get some stuff for $25, and you might can hit sale racks, but
yes, but if you're gonna go and get something that
for the most part, if you go to Hendrick, Joe Gibbs, Penske, the big three teams, you're probably spending about $30 to $35 on a shirt.
Yeah, I want to say
that's short sleeve. I think this one was $30.
Yeah, I want to say I think I spent $25 on this one.
That sounds right. I don't remember. Lily bought this one for me.
Yeah. But yeah, no. If you're that person, I don't expect you to watch this podcast or even be a NASCAR fan.
We hope you stub your toe on the end of your bed when you wake up every morning. Until you lower the price.
I hope it never never sells.
Clip
it. I hope it never sells. I almost did it again. Jesus. I hope you yeah, I'm mad about it because I want the shirt, and I'm not spending $600 on a freaking t-shirt.
60.
Even then, $60, I still don't want to. I want to say that everything NASCAR that I have bought on Mercari, which has been a decent bit. I
Yeah.
bought one to 24s. I bought one to 64s. I bought shirts. I don't think I've ever spent over $25.
It's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, most people on there that are, within reason are willing to, cut you a deal,
Yeah.
Like if you get, recently I got the Jeff Gordon DuPont Flames and the Rainbow Warrior, and I just was just like, let's just see if this will work. I sent the lady a deal for or it's like a bundle, like $10, and she accepted it. And I'm like, sweet, that works for me. Yeah. And most reasonable people are willing to wheel and deal on there. Because, I mean, it's...
If you're listing it on there, you want to get rid of it for the most part.
Yeah. No, I mean, if you're listing a Jeff Gordon shirt for $600, that's crazy, first off.
Yeah.
Actually, I take that back. I have spent more, but it was... The most I've spent is probably $50, and that's my Dale Jr. jacket.
Yeah.
That's probably the only thing that I can think of. I forgot about that. Anyways, sorry. But yes, that the crowd did seem a lot more of a younger crowd than the U.S. crowd and stuff, which was cool. Another thing that I heard was sometimes when they were showing the stadium section, the people were like, "Oh, it looks empty and stuff," and it's like, apparently the stadium section, it was all the same pricing as F1 for that track.
That makes sense.
And stadium was, you had to buy it, tickets were $130, and you were buying for all 3 days, practice, qualifying, Xfinity, and Cup. So. But when they went over to the grandstands over in I think it's turn 1, where they have the big grandstands, that area was packed out.
Right.
I mean, this was probably...
I mean, you got to think the capacity of that place is a lot more than most NASCAR tracks that we normally go to.
Very true.
So it looks empty. It sold more than
than what you think, really. But yeah, no, I mean, I really do feel like this was probably one of the better road courses in the next gen era. I mean, maybe a hot take, but
I think also we've seen that surprisingly F1 tracks really fit the next gen car because Coda's really good and now Mexico's really good.
Yeah.
So according to Jeff Gluck, for the NASCAR viewership for the Mexico race Sunday, it was at 2.1 million, which beat F1's Montreal race at 1.5 million. That was on ABC, and IndyCar on Fox at 1.2 million. And then also Prime says it had the youngest audience for a Cup Series race since 2017.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy that the viewership even reflected it being a younger crowd watching that race.
Which I think Prime in general is going to have a younger viewership.
Yeah, no, I agree. Probably true, I would imagine.
Even if, some of it might be skewed slightly for, somebody our age. They might just send their parents the login information.
That's true. Valid.
But, I mean, overall, I do think that even without some of the, skews and outliers and stuff, that you will have a much younger audience on strictly streaming.
Yeah, which I mean, but you got to think also how many people our age are using their parents' Amazon Prime, because I know I am.
That's true.
Thanks, Mom.
I don't even know whose I'm using.
Just somebody.
It's somebody in Lily's family.
Well, do your parents not have Amazon Prime?
Probably.
I was about to say, I feel like everybody has Prime.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying for shipping on Amazon.
Well, no, they have Prime because that's how Dad's been watching the race. So I don't know why I'm not using.
Just R.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really interesting stat. Yeah, I hate that Prime coverage is ending next week.
Well, yeah, but we still get Prime to an extent for the next 5 after.
That's true.
Because they'll keep the booth, they'll keep everything the same. It'll just be on TNT, so you're gonna get
It's going to be a shorter post race, if even anything.
Yeah, and the quality will probably be a little worse because it has to be on TV, not streaming.
Yeah, very true. I'll mention that one later when we get down to the actual race.
Both of those?
Yeah, sure. We'll mention both of those. So, Bob's Discount Furniture signed sponsorship deal with JGR. The first race is going to be on Denny's car in Iowa. The only reason I know about this company is because my cousin Jessica used to work for this company. I think she used to. I don't think she still does.
Okay.
But she used to work for Bob's. I think. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I don't know if you listen to this, but you know. I'll in the checkered chat out of context, we'll put that in there, my cousin Jessica, and then it'll make her go and listen to the podcast and find out what we were talking about. But hey, then the next thing, the amount of memes that have came out of this is pretty funny with this just being announced today, right? It was just announced today.
Yeah, that's when I saw it.
Dale Jr. will be crew chiefing for Connor Zilic at Pocono since his crew chief is suspended. I can't remember why he was suspended.
It was a lug nut issue at Nashville.
Oh, yeah, because didn't they
deferred it.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah,
you could defer.
Well, I know in the Cup Series, like, let's say you're SVG's crew chief and you get in trouble the week before a road course. Mm-hmm. You're going to appeal strictly for the fact that you get to keep your crew chief for the road course, and then afterwards he can serve it. So it's probably something similar to that.
Okay, I could see that. That makes sense.
Because they just had, Mexico.
Yeah, that makes it totally valid. So that is all we got on news for this week. On to Xfinity. This race was absolutely killer.
Absolute cinema.
Pure cinema. It was super cool, super good race. Zillage wins the pole. Qualifying. Couldn't remember if it was qualifying or practice that it happened. Soros had to go to a backup car after wrecking, and that car being all black just with the Quaker State stickers and stuff on it, I thought it looked freaking dope.
Yeah, but the one that he wrecked was killer.
It was, but I mean, still, the race win for that is going to look so dope.
See, I wouldn't order it just because how good the other scheme was.
Valid. Either way, I felt like it looked like
I did like it though.
The reason I say that is because seeing it next to Ty Gibbs with the Monster Energy, it looked like a better Monster Energy car. That's the way I thought of it.
And it's funny that somebody's backup looks like relatively similar to the
it was
Monster
the green
Energy car.
And everything. Quaker State has a special place in my heart. My wife's grandpa. I still need her to actually tell me what he exactly did. He was involved in some form with Quaker State in racing.
Yeah.
So yeah, every time that anybody runs a Quaker State car, me and Mal are always like, that's super cool. And then also Atlanta has the Quaker State 400.
Presented by Walmart at the Echo Park Automotive Speedway.
As we approach the Echo Park restart zone and the Echo Park Motor Speedway Echo Park 400, sponsored by Quaker State. I'm still mad about the Atlanta rename and everything, if you can't tell.
And the repaint and everything.
I drove by there the other day.
I haven't seen it yet. Lily said it's awful.
It is. I saw, the big archway that they have going towards, Locust Grove and everything. The big archway that used to say Atlanta Motor Speedway, it has that up there now and it looks awful. Anyways, please just go back to Atlanta
We'll
Motor
save
Speedway.
the rest of this rant for next week's episode.
Yeah, for next week's episode before Atlanta, which we will be at. Come say hey and all that. I'll probably say that again next week. But yeah, we will be there. I won't be there for Xfinity, unfortunately, but Blake will. And if you come and find Blake, you'll find my dad. Because my dad's going to it with him. So, yeah, go say hi to Blake and my dad. It'll be sort of like saying hey to me.
It'd be like a cooler version of Justin.
Yeah,
I'm
basically. But if you come on Saturday night, you will see me because I will be there.
Yes.
But anyways, so this was something interesting, I thought, because I think in a interview or something may have been over the radio, I don't know, but one of the first things that happens is Bell spinning out and he wrecks out. He just says, I'm done, basically.
Well, it blew the motor.
Sorry, I didn't write that down. Oops. Sorry. So yeah, Bell blows a motor and he basically said, like, I'm done running Xfinity cars. Because, and it kind of makes sense because it took him off his game for qualifying for Cup.
Yeah.
I mean, he qualified like 30th, 29, something like that. What?
I was about to say, yeah, that's a good excuse to use.
The thing is,
it makes sense to an extent.
Because, I mean, think about it. Back 10 years ago, the Xfinity cars were so similar to the Cup Series car. It was like better practice. Now they're so different, it's not even worth it.
Well, and like running a road course really probably screws with you more because, like, you still shift on an oval, but once you get up to fourth gear in the Xfinity car, you're done shifting until the caution comes out and you have to. And a next gen car, it's not the H pattern where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's sequential. So like you still shift in both, but like road course, I could imagine you're like constantly clutch in, changing gear, rev matching, whatever the case is, and then you go hop in the Cup car and you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably messes with you a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what he claimed for that, but also...
I remember the interview right after he blew up, he was like, and for everybody wondering, no, I didn't miss a shift. And then he just, like, dropped the mic and walked into the hauler in the most Christopher Bell way possible.
So very boringly.
Yeah.
Very white bread, average. Oh, no spice at all.
None.
This is Christopher Bell. Just boring. What stuff? The DMV.
Oh, yeah.
Boring. Christopher Bell. Boring. Doctor's office. Boring. We could go on, but we won't. Anyways, so Bell blows the engine. Oh, there it is. I totally scrolled a little too far. My bad. Carson Quaffle wins his first stage, and stage 1 goes caution-free.
Which, not, again, I'll preface, because I'm going to say this with multiple. This isn't taking away from Carson Quaffle. He took advantage of the opportunity at hand. But a lot of stage winners on road courses are playing strategy to get points because the leaders are going to flip the stage, so then they get to retain track position. Minus the
very true.
2-3 laps right at the end of the stage that you're giving it up.
Very, very true.
Yeah. But Quaffle did run good at COTA earlier this year, too.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think, is starting to kind of come into his own on road courses a little bit. But yeah, so he wins his first stage win of his career, which was nice to see. Sammy Smith wins stage 2. It was actually a junior motorsports sweep for stages.
And the win.
Yeah. And the whole day sweep. And yeah, so basically, you have, on a restart, you got Ty Gibbs, you got Connor Zillage. Yay! Yeah, we like Connor Zillage. Woo, yay! Ty Gibbs, boo. Yeah. We don't like him. No. There is some commercial or something, or a TikTok, maybe it was, I don't remember, that has been ran where he's in an Interstate Batteries fire suit, and he's sitting down. But he looks, it's him and Coach, like, right next to each other. Okay. And he just looks so tiny.
He is tiny.
I know he is, but it looks like worse than it actually is.
Oh, yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Like, who is taller? Ty Gibbs or Tyler Reddick?
Off the top of my head,
I want to say Ty Gibbs is taller.
Yeah, let me look.
Because I think Reddick might be the shortest in Cup Series. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but...
Ty Gibbs is 5'7".
Man, he's an inch shorter than me, and I'm like, oh, this guy's short.
Yeah, but I don't know how much we should trust this, because Google lists Bubba Wallace at 5'6".
I think that I think Bubba Wallace is.
He's like 6 foot, is he not?
Isn't there something on like the NASCAR website you can look up and see like?
Maybe.
I don't know. We should have had. I didn't put this in the notes. I'm throwing.
It says
this
Tyler
on,
Reddick's 5'5".
Okay, so I could see that. I mean, if he'd spike his mullet up, he'd be 5'7" or something
Literally.
like that. But yeah, so I don't know. It's just something. It looks like he's just extremely small. I don't know what the deal is, but so you have Zilich and Ty Gibbs on the restart, and in I think it turn 1 or was it turn 2 or 3?
Are you talking about the first time or the second time?
When
Because so early in the race, they made contact in turn 1, and then turn 2, Ty Gibbs sent Connor Zilich through the grass.
the one that caused the huge that
was turn
the
2.
big one. Okay,
Well, they got together in turn 1, stacked people up. Turn 2, because it was such a stack up and bottleneck, took a lot of cars.
yeah. So they get into each other
multiple times,
and they end up causing basically the big one of Mexico.
Yeah.
Pretty much, and it collects so many people, and then he ends up basically during that Ty Gibbs gets a flat from
and
that.
He got rear-ended pretty good too.
Yeah, it ruined Ty Gibbs' day,
which as it should.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it collected a lot of people. I mean, you just saw every
Zilich,
car.
I mean, that car was awful.
Yeah. No, I mean, I saw that and I'm like, well, there goes my pick for last week. And insert where I'm going to let Blake brag about his picks for last week. Go ahead.
For the first time since we've started, the picks this year, I got Xfinity and Cup correct. So everything that ran, I got right, which honestly, it was a coin flip for the Xfinity Series because even though Zilich got a lot of damage, he still was fast and still fought his way up.
Yeah, I mean,
I do think though that it would have been a legitimate 50-50 if Zilich would have got less damage.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you got to think
with Ty Gibbs out of the way, then it really would make sense that it would be a Suarez versus Zilich day.
Yeah, which he still came back for a top 5.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think something interesting is leaning towards talking about the Cup race is I feel like the only person who really had anything for SVG was Ty Gibbs, which was really weird.
Yeah. He was good in the Xfinity Series on road courses.
Okay. That was before my time being a fan.
But, in the Xfinity Series, too, for this race, I felt like there was... Well, I don't know. I was about to say, I felt like you could get in an accident and make your ground up easier than you could in the Cup Series, but I feel like they were kind of close, though, honestly.
Yeah. So... Next thing you have Jesse Love. He spins out. I cannot remember what turn it was, but sorry,
one of the 15.
We're used to 4 turns. 15 is a little much to remember each one. But yeah, he spins out, brings out another caution, and then on this restart, I felt like Taylor Gray just kind of bulldogged Suarez into the grass on the restart. And after this, I'm sitting there. I'm like, it's basically Taylor Gray versus Daniel Suarez.
Yeah.
There was a few times that it looked like he was about to just freaking ship Daniel Suarez into a turn.
Well, and in Taylor Gray's defense, he didn't mean to send Suarez through the grass.
No.
And you could tell, obviously, and also I can't remember if it was his podium interview or whatnot, but he basically said, I didn't mean to do that. I let off and let him get back in line with basically the same lead he had before.
Yeah.
Who else is going to do that? Let's be honest.
But I'll say this that I thought was funny. I can't remember if it was on Twitter or something like that or just in general. If Taylor Gray had spun Suarez out, the cartel would have been on him.
Oh, yeah.
I bet. That's a joke, but it's
for the memes, yes.
Yes, it would have not been a good day
because you
for
could
him.
tell rewatching the finish. that he definitely made the decision last second of, I'm not going to run through him. I'm just going to take second and be cool with it and go home.
Yeah. I mean, because that was really just like storybook for Suarez.
Yeah.
I mean, that was so cool to see, you know, him win in his, like, it's not your home state, it's not your home track, it's your home country. That's crazy. Nuts. But yeah, so if you can't tell by now, Daniel Suarez won the Xfinity race. Your top 10 was Daniel Suarez in first, obviously. Taylor Gray, Austin Hill, Christian Eckes, Connor Zilisch, William Sawalich, Austin Green, Jeb Burton, Harrison Burton, Sammy Smith. I feel like every time in Xfinity, anytime any of the Burtons are in the top 10, they're always both right back to back.
Yeah, it does feel like that. Also, I know we like to hate on Austin Hill, like, you know, for obvious reasons. But, like, to give him his flowers where they're due, I mean, he was backwards multiple points.
Yeah,
he limped around the whole track with a flat tire. How did he get third?
Yeah,
I
agree.
That's wild.
I agree.
And also, Super Speedway Merchant, what are you doing?
Yeah, you're not supposed to be good on
Maybe
road
he's
courses.
wasting all of his talent before they come to Atlanta.
Hopefully.
Well, you won't be there, so.
That's true. I don't want you or my dad to have to sit through.
You know how many times I've had to do that? It's fun. Literally since the repave, I think I'll go after this and look it up so, you know, we'll know for sure and we can maybe clear it up. But Ty Gibbs won the first one, and pretty much every other one has been won by Austin Hill.
Yeah, I want to say you're probably right.
Like, the amount of Austin Hill burnout videos I have on my phone is ridiculous.
For someone who doesn't even like Austin Hill.
I mean, I have a Joey Logano burnout video from Atlanta, from the All-Star race.
Yeah.
Like, if you do a good burnout, you do a good burnout.
Yeah, we'll recognize a good burnout when we see one.
Now, I will say, when Ty Gibbs won Atlanta, I walked out before the race was over.
Valid. Completely valid.
Valid crash out.
Valid crash out.
Yep. I lost my marbles.
Yeah, I think if I would have saw Ty Gibbs win this weekend, I would have lost my marbles. Yeah. In either race, I would have lost it.
I mean, honestly, I would have Xfinity, whatever. Just knock up.
Yeah.
Please knock up. Please, yeah. God, no.
Very true. But that is all we have for the Xfinity race.
On to the Cup Series race in Mexico. Stage winners, you have Ryan Preece winning stage 1.
What's a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas?
Yeah. Well, so his qualifying, it made sense to me based off of he qualified second. And if you go back, I don't know if there's a way. If you can go back and watch his qualifying lap.
I think you could go and watch qualifying on Prime afterwards. I think. I'm almost positive.
He leaves pit road shortly after Chris Buescher and just follows Chris Buescher around the whole entire track.
That makes sense because, I mean, Buescher is, like, known to be a good road course guy. I mean, he won Watkins Glen, right?
Yeah, over SVG.
Yeah, over SVG, which is nuts to me, honestly.
And the other thing, too, is, like, even if you're a good road racer, it's going to benefit you to have a car that you're trailing because you can gauge your braking points off of them. You can get runs off. Well, Mexico, not as much because the draft really, due to altitude, did not matter in the slightest.
And also for it to be your teammate, too.
Yeah.
That's another thing to help. Yeah.
But then SVG wins stage 2, which, while watching the race, did feel very questionable that they didn't flip the stage.
Yeah.
Because typically, if you don't flip stage 2, if you do not flip the ending of stage 2 starting into stage 3, you're probably not going to have that good of a shot to win.
Yeah, but I mean,
also it's SVG, and there was the potential for rain.
True.
That they were waiting, and Ty Gibbs did not wait. But we'll save that for later. So, starting on lap 2, the caution for rain came out, and interesting that Chris Buescher running 16th and Austin Cindric running 21st, they stay out there on the slicks. It's pouring down rain. The track has lots of standing water on it. Everybody else gets wet weather tires.
And they both ran well.
But they really kind of started falling back.
That's true. I mean, Yeah, towards the end for sure.
Lap 7, Kyle Busch.
He must have been like, oh crap, they know about my warrant. I need to leave now.
I don't know if it was because it happened under braking. I don't know if he just, and I forget that he talked about it in his post-race interview, but
the Care Center interview.
Yeah. But I think he just misjudged where he was braking in the rain. I don't know. But he sent the car sideways and ended up going backwards into Justin Haley and destroying Kyle Larson. Somehow Justin Haley was running around looking like a beat-up Nissan Altima on Interstate 285.
Yeah. He looked like he just came out of the Nissan 200 or whatever the thing they did at Cletus's track.
But then it also collected Zane Smith, Chase Briscoe, and AJ Allmendinger, which did not have as significant of damage.
Yeah.
And then that was really it for stage 1. On the pit stop after stage 1, everybody except for McDowell, Hocevar, and Suarez all pitted to get slicks.
And Stenhouse.
Yes, and Stenhouse. Which I think at this point, I guess you could still say that Buescher and Cindric are on that strategy with slicks, because I don't think they ever put wet weather tires on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they didn't put any on.
Yeah. And then Chase Briscoe got the free pass, but he was penalized for fueling twice as the free pass car. I don't understand that. Like, you have to know that rule, and like going a lap down on a road course is a whole lot worse than going a lap down on a normal
100%. I mean, so Larson gets collected. They go to make repairs.
Yeah.
And then he is 34 laps down coming back out and rips qualifying laps and then gets a playoff point.
Thanks for jumping all the way to that.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I honestly haven't looked that far ahead.
I don't remember if I actually put it in here.
But yeah, I
think it's dumb personally.
Dude, here's the thing, and this is the way I thought about it. Sorry, is Xfinity Fastest Lap a playoff point or a season championship point?
I don't remember.
Okay, I think it's a season championship point now that I think about it. You know how many points he lost last year to Reddick?
He lost by one.
So I think that team they're like, all right, if we can take this car back and fix it and then just go out here and rip and get these points. Because, I mean, did he not do the same thing at Martinsville?
I'd have to go back and look.
I'm almost positive that he did. And I think they're just trying to rack up after that, it's almost like a oh gosh, like
you salvage something.
Yeah, like we got to get something.
Yeah,
we're going to get as many of these as we can.
I'd like to clarify also, it's not that I'm hating on the 5-teamer Larson. You can't hate the player, you got to hate the game.
Yeah,
I just think it's dumb that like you can go to the garage, like by all means, I'm glad that now you can go to the garage, fix your car, and go back out there, because I thought that was dumb in recent years, that if you bent your toe length too much, you were done. Like, okay. But you're 39 laps down at that point, 34 to 39, somewhere in there. And you just go rip qualifying laps and you get the fastest lap. I mean, I guess on one hand, it incentivizes you to go back and fix the car good.
True.
But on the other hand, like, you're not competitive. You're not even in this race at this point.
Yeah, valid.
I don't know.
I get what you're saying. I see both sides of it, for sure.
I mean, I see both sides of it. I think some of it is that I'm just not fully accustomed to Xfinity Fastest Lap yet.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel like by next season, and I'm wondering how much it is going to actually play into. Like, are we going to have as close of a regular season title?
Probably.
Like, is it going to... I
don't think it's going to be a point, but like it'll be relatively close.
Where like I feel like, oh well, that makes sense because they were 5 ahead. They had 5 fastest laps.
Yeah, and knowing the way NASCAR Twitter and all of that works, there's going to be somebody come that time of year that's going to sit there and break down how many, like, who had Xfinity Fastest Laps, how many they had, how many points they gained, and how that helped them.
Yeah, for sure.
But it'll be interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Lap 32, Ryan Truex spins from around 23rd in turn 9. Not really a whole lot on that one, other than, honestly, he did pretty good considering the fact that I don't know how many times he's physically driven an actual next-gen car compared to Sims and all of that.
Yeah, because he's pretty much the backup driver for Denny.
He's really the backup driver for JGR.
Just
I mean,
in
he's
general.
like their development guy, like behind the scenes for sim work, like all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, overall he did good. He fought back to a pretty decent finish, I think. I don't 100% remember. Lap 33, Chase Briscoe gets the free pass this time and keeps it. So that's good. Lap 65, Hocevar spins in turn 15. He was running about 26th at the time. But this is what ultimately ended any shot at Ty Gibbs having a good finish and maybe even a win.
Yeah.
And in the notes I put, everyone loved that, because pretty much everybody loved to see that. Because
Remember
at that point,
Sorry.
VG and Ty Gibbs were like, they were on differing strategies and they were leading their strategies.
Yeah.
I say that. I don't know if anybody else was on Ty Gibbs. No, there were. Yeah. Chase was on Ty Gibbs' strategy. But yeah, so then that brings out a caution at the point where if you're Ty Gibbs, Chase Elliott, etc., you don't want a caution. Lap 69, on the restart, Ryan Truex gets sideways from around 10th in turn 2. That stacks everybody up. Chase Briscoe runs through the tire barriers. There's people in the grass. There's people everywhere. And then Catherine Legg also spins out around turns 5 and 6, which I have.
I'm gonna throw something out there. Catherine Legg had a higher finishing than Kyle Larson.
Yeah. No, she did.
Let's go.
But no caution came out of that. One of the things I honestly really do like about road course racing is that, like,
Not every incident is a freaking caution.
yeah, like, it's harder on an oval to, I think, use judgment sometimes of like, hey, we should, hey, we shouldn't, because everything's happening so fast and there's a pack coming.
True.
Here, okay, you have 45 seconds of the rest of the lap, or a minute or whatever. I don't know what lap. I forget what lap times they're running, but, you know, wherever at, you have a long period of time for someone to refire the car, to get spun around.
Yeah.
Like, you have opportunity, and that's not. Lap 73.
Good God, this.
Yeah. Exiting turn 11, going into the stadium section, Riley Herbst gets spun by William Byron, and then he just, good luck everybody else, I turn left now, and merged, like, I mean, I don't know how, like, right in front of Ricky Stenhouse. I don't know how that was not a wreck.
I heard that there was some stuff with spotter placement that they weren't exactly thrilled with.
Yeah, because I can't remember if it was Saturday for Xfinity or Sunday for Cup, but they were telling somebody over the radio, hey, so-and-so spotter cannot see in turn 11 or turn 10, whatever it was. Just send it in there and surprise him and scare him.
Yeah, no, I think I want to say that.
Wasn't that Xfinity?
Yeah. I think Bubba, Freddie Kraft said that, like, his radio didn't work basically the entire race. So he had, like, a part-time spotter and then someone who doesn't spot really hardly ever.
Yeah.
Was basically it. But yeah, no, I don't know how Riley Herbst did not get freaking T-boned.
I mean, it was close.
Yeah.
It was wild.
It was very close.
Then lap 90, Carson Hocevar, he was a lap or two down at this point.
I think it was 2.
Yeah. In the stadium section, makes a mistake. But the mistake gets him into the back of Ricky Stenhouse. And that reignites the beef.
Yes. So after the race, Stenhouse goes over to Hocevar's car and basically is like...
He puts like half his body in the car.
Yeah, no, he's like... Dude doesn't even have his helmet off yet, as in Hocevar. But also, you know, somebody brought this up. I don't know where it was. But, you know, when you saw that stuff back, 10, 15 years ago, guy doing that with the Busch Light fire suit, the Miller Lite, the Budweiser, whatever, it looks cool. When you got a freaking Fun Pops fire suit on, and you're telling this guy, you're saying, "Oh, when we get back to the States, I'm gonna beat your ass." Like,
it's also
just
funny,
look goofy.
like how afraid of. I would assume the Mexican police and jail system and the whole nine, the drivers are, to the point of that, like, I'm so mad at you right now that I would fight you, but we're in Mexico, so I'll catch you at home.
Yeah. I'm curious at...
Ain't nothing gonna happen.
Well, I did hear over the radio, he said something about, like, oh, he'll get his at Pocono next week.
Oh, I'm sure, but I'm saying, like, actual physical out of the
No,
car.
it's gonna be...
no, that Ricky's already paid enough.
Yeah. It's too expensive.
So then SVG goes on to win, and there are multiple little fun tidbits that I found.
Mm-hmm.
SVG is the first driver since Marvin Porter in 1957 and 1960 to get his first 2 wins in an inaugural event.
He's 100% on inaugural events.
Yeah. First time we go to Chicago, street course.
Chicago street course. He wins. Has never raced a cup car in his life. And
then first time we go to Mexico, he wins. So, cheat code.
Rookie season in cup.
And then SVG's margin of victory was 16.5 seconds. It is the largest margin of victory since Texas in November of 2009, which was at 25.6 seconds. And the largest for a road course since Riverside in June of 1979 at 32.9 seconds.
1979, Dale Earnhardt's rookie season.
Yeah,
that's funny. That's interesting. I'm listening to the becoming Earnhardt, the first season, air quotes season of it. So yeah, they just talked about that. So that's interesting. I wish I could tell you who won that race, but I do not remember.
Yeah.
I also wasn't alive, so I feel like I have a valid reason to not know.
November 09, I think, was Kurt Busch. I'm probably not right on that, but I think it was. I think I saw that somewhere. I don't remember. But yeah, so SVG wins.
He was done with his burnout by the time 4th place entered the stadium section.
Which I saw a lot of conversation about this, so I wanted to have a mini conversation on the pod about it.
Okay.
How do you feel about the fact that SVG was so bad on points that he could not qualify for the in-season tournament, which is the top 32 drivers out of 36 full-time drivers? But now he goes to Mexico, wins a road course race, and he goes from 33rd, 34th in points to in the playoffs.
Hate the game, not the player.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. Okay.
To me, I saw a lot of people saying this is no different than Harrison Burton winning Daytona. And to that, I say you're wrong because everybody saw this coming. Nobody saw Harrison Burton coming.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I think this is less of a shock wow factor thing because you just knew at the beginning of the year that there was no way he wasn't going to win at least one road course. Yeah. But
who knows? He might win 2.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have...
he's 1 for 2 so far in the year.
You still have 2 in the regular season and 1 in the playoffs.
Is it? Yeah. No, it's 3 still in the regular season, right? Because it's...
Sonoma,
Watkins Glen, Chicago Street Course.
Oh, yeah, you're right. 3 in the regular season, 1 in the playoffs.
But,
I mean, not saying that he's going to make it out of the first round of the playoffs.
I mean, he might. You never know. Crazier things have happened.
Because the Roval's in the round of 8, right?
That sounds right, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that he does, but the thing is he's also shown better on the ovals.
He's been getting better as the years progressed on ovals. But I think another thing, too, is that, okay, if we're not going to get rid of the win and you're in, which I think needs to be tweaked. I don't necessarily know if you get rid of it, but, it needs to be tweaked a little bit.
I don't think you get rid of it. I think what you do is you expand the championship round. That's... Yeah. Every other round is, what is it? 4 races? 3
races.
3 races. Make it a 3-race thing or a 4-race thing, even at that. make the last round be longer or something. I don't know. It's just I think that that's what it should be because all the other rounds are that. So
Yeah.
it's like it's harder to make the playoffs than it is to win the championship.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Throw last year away because somebody who shouldn't have.
Or actually, let me rephrase that. It's harder to make the Final Four than
Yeah.
it is to actually win the championship.
Yeah.
That's
Unless
what
you're
I'm
Joey
gonna say.
Logano.
Yeah.
Then, in which case, everything falls directly into your lap and you get the most Mickey Mouse
He
championship
just
ever.
falls ass backwards into a good situation.
Yeah. But I do think that if you don't get rid of the winning you're in, you don't make edits to it, whatever, why at this point would some teams not have just one dedicated, I'm going to win a road course race guy?
Yeah. I mean, that would make a lot of sense.
Because now, if you think about it, there's 2 out of the 3 Trackhouse cars that are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Suarez finds a way to win. You
and
have
he could.
Yeah, and
I
he
mean,
could.
that's the thing. He shows speed almost every week at some point.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just a matter of putting a full day together, honestly.
Once that team can put together a full day, he's going to win something.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is Colleague is probably going to get a car in the playoffs if we're being honest with AJ Allmendinger.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, even, like, Ty Dillon has run decent this year.
I mean, there's going to have to be a lot to fall, I think, perfect for that to happen.
I could see, a Harrison Burton situation at Daytona.
I could see Atlanta or Daytona.
Yeah, something like that. Talladega's in the playoffs, so yeah.
But I think overall, I think that there needs to be a large overhaul of the playoff system. But you can't hate SVG for it.
Yeah. No,
if you did, and you shouldn't have hated Harrison Burton last year for it because they're just playing the cards that they're dealt.
Yeah. I think by the end of the regular season, we're going to be seeing somebody who normally makes the playoffs. And unfortunately,
it's going to be Kyle Busch.
No. I don't even think it's Kyle Busch because, he didn't make the playoffs last year.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think Brad will make it.
No, Brad's not. I don't think Brad's going to make it. You want me to tell you who I think?
Yeah.
Chase Elliott.
I don't think so.
Listen.
You would have to have 16 different winners for him to not make the playoffs. And it's not happening.
Valid.
Because even in year 1 of the next gen car, where the parity was at the most, where nobody knew what to expect week to week, there were not 16 different winners.
True. I'm not saying we're going to get 16 different winners, but I mean, who's to say that somebody couldn't go out there and have the craziest points run?
Yeah, but I just think he has enough of a cushion in points that
it's going to be hard.
As long as he stays consistent. I mean, I'm biased, obviously, but I think before the playoffs come, he's going to put together a good day and win.
Valid.
It's going to happen. Because it's like Blaney.
Yeah, true.
I mean, they're wildly different situations, but it's similar if you really want to get down to the nuts and bolts of it, because Blaney had so many DNFs, so many just wishy-washy weeks, but he always had speed, and you knew it was coming. Chase always shows a glimpse once a week, at least, you think. Because this week...
True.
This he's on the same strategy as Ty Gibbs, where everyone's like, yeah, that strategy's done. It's over with. They have no shot. He drove up to third. He was running very similar lap times to SVG.
True. I don't know. I think that you're going to see someone from a big team not make it who normally makes it.
So there's a shot that Bowman doesn't make it if there's enough winners because of his recent stretch. I mean, you want to let's look. Now I'm kind of curious. Like right around the cut line.
Yeah, after Mexico.
Bubba could not make it.
Well, I mean, didn't make it last year.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know. But like you look at, I think points wise, Chase is 146 points to the good over the cut line. That's not going nowhere.
Okay, who's behind him?
Reddick 123. Those two are in on points. Bubba plus 57 could miss. Chase Briscoe, there is a legitimate shot that he does not make the playoffs. Chris Buescher.
Yeah.
And mind you, if Chris Buescher doesn't make it, no RFK cars make it the way it's running now because Priest is 17th, 19 points below the cut line, and
Brad's
32nd.
In the trenches.
Yeah. But, I mean, and Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean,
Which isn't, let's be honest,
that's
that's
not a big
super
shocker.
surprising. No front row cars, not super shocking.
I honestly think that you could see a Legacy or a front row not making it on points, but winning a race.
I could see Legacy winning. Front row, I'm a little jury's still out on them for me.
Valid. I mean, Legacy has ran a lot better here recently, but I mean, shoot, like at some of these super speedways, like Todd Gilliland.
Yeah.
As I'm wearing a Todd Gilliland shirt, but that'll come up later. Yeah, I mean, you could see one of them pulling out a win. You could see Gragson. I mean, we've been saying Gragson since the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I think we might have been a little off on that one, but
maybe, but there's still
time.
Yeah, there's still time.
But are you good on that little
yeah,
side?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So to round out the rest of your top 10, SVG wins. Christopher Bell second, Chase Elliott third, Bowman fourth, McDowell fifth. John Hunter Nemechek sixth, Chase Briscoe seventh. Mind you, lap down, fighting for his life all day, it felt like. Cole Custer finished eighth. What is a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas? That's the first top 10 all year for Cole Custer. Mind you, I'm honestly not even saying this to be funny. I some weeks forget that Cole Custer is a Cup Series driver.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like, seriously, not joking. He's just so forgettable on how he runs this year because that car is so bad.
Yeah.
Mind you, it's a one-car team. Okay, Ricky Stenhouse.
Yeah.
William Byron finishes 9th, and Chris Buescher finishes 10th.
And also, Michael McDowell's 5th place finish is his first top 5 in his Spire career.
And the crowd goes mild.
I mean, I thought it was pretty cool.
I'm just kidding. Just wanted.
But yeah, first top 5. He was in contention it was Texas, right?
Yeah.
And then wrecked out. But yeah, so seriously, this weekend was killer. Like, just great race all around.
A lot of action.
Yeah, seriously. But
which it is refreshing that we can see SVG just absolutely take his belt off and whoop the entire field and still say that was a good race. Because you think about how we typically are, not us, but typically as NASCAR fans as a whole, if you're watching like a Bristol this year where Larson dominates and nobody touches him, that was boring, that was the worst race ever.
No, and also I think it kind of came down to some of the prime coverage because, I mean, they were doing really well about, like, showing, the battles that were happening.
Yeah, because I was about to
towards
say,
the back.
They periodically would come back and be like, hey, here's a SVG. But, like, for the last, I don't even know how many laps, I don't think you saw SVG more than, like, a handful of times.
Yeah. I mean, we knew at that point he was going to win.
And the other thing, too, is just the racing throughout the field was better.
Yeah, it really was.
But just the slight comparison of, like, somebody dominates and wins big at an oval. We hate it. Get it out of here. Boo. You're whatever. Go to this road course. Oh, it was great. But also SVG won by 17 seconds.
Yeah.
The only car anywhere near him when he finished was Cody Ware. And when he's doing burnouts, Catherine Legg is, like, kind of being held up. And then he's done with everything, like you said, by the time Bowman and Briscoe get to him.
Yeah. That was funny to see that. But yeah, that's all we got for Mexico. On to next week. Pocono, the tricky triangle.
Yeah.
Interesting that they built this track as a triangle.
I think it's awesome.
It's cool. No, for sure. Don't get me wrong. I just think it's interesting. They're like, 4 turns? Nah, 3. Valid. But so every week we do our least favorite and our favorite paint schemes of the week. And this week, there was no shortage of good ones. There was no shortage of bad ones. We'll put it that way, I think, personally. But
yeah.
Blake, what you got on your favorite for this week in Pocono?
Okay. So this week at Pocono for paint schemes, we're going with my favorite being Noah Gragson's Miller Tech Mustang. It has, I'm looking at it now for reference. It has lightning bolts everywhere. You know, it's an electric paint scheme. Dad joke, whatever. But it really reminds me of like Jeff Burton's like Prilosec car in the Car Tomorrow days, and like some of the old like battery sponsorships.
It looks like a all over print T-shirt is a car. I don't know if that makes sense, but it looks super dope.
It also looks really modern and really vintage at the same time too. Like you could pass that as a throwback just based off of like
the lightning and everything. It looks cool for sure.
And then my least favorite, I don't know if this is going to be super popular with Justin, is Josh Berry's Eero Mustang.
Valid.
That car's just, I don't even like. I'm sure in person, on TV, whatever, you know, the gradient is going to be a little more, like, blended. But at least the rendering of it, which you'll see as you're seeing this, it just looks like splotches of color.
Yeah. I feel like gradients on the mock-ups.
Boring.
I feel like gradients on the mock-ups just don't turn out the way, you know. But, yeah, I get what you're saying for sure.
Also, little 2-second tidbit. Shout out to Christopher Bell and JGR for filling in the blank spot on the ream scheme. I feel like I was a part of that, personally.
They heard you.
I mean, they did. Look.
Yeah, they actually filled it in. Wow.
Do you see how much better just one small thing makes it?
Yep. You guys will see that.
And it has gold numbers, and I'm still giving praises to it.
No, I'm not going to lie. The gold numbers I thought on that one look
No,
cool.
I think they do look good, actually.
So for my favorite this week, my favorite pickles that exist are Grillo's pickles. So I had to go with Todd Gilliland's Grillo's pickle car as I'm wearing the shirt. Yeah, no, this car looks dope. Love Grillo's marketing and everything, and this car is just like top tier for that. I love it. Every time it comes around, it's going to be my favorite. My favorite for next week has already been chosen. Another thing that is another food that's my favorite.
Yeah, and we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. That'll only be in the podcast part of this. I won't put that in the TikTok. Anyways, in my least favorite, I think this guy has the most least favorites for me for this season. Ricky Stenhouse. This is Martin's car. Stop running it. It looks bad.
Earlier this year, right?
Bad. It's not good at all. It looks like pee. It's not a good looking car at all. I hate this car so much. I might hate it more than the Chumba Casino car or the Monster Energy car.
Yeah, honestly, those are probably very valid things to say right now.
But that's all we got on some paint schemes for this week. Hope you guys enjoy that. It's been fun doing that on the podcast instead of standing in the driveway doing it. But yeah, so on to past next-gen winners at Pocono.
The Tricky Triangle.
Blake, I'm gonna let you take this one because I wasn't a fan at the time of this 2022, and
so
explain.
2022, your winner was Chase Elliott. He did not cross the start-finish line first. He finished third. What happened was, what had happened was, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch were caught cheating. There was something on the front end where they tried to like slip something under the wrap, and it was like an aerodynamic advantage off the nose. Both of the cars were found to have that in post-race inspection. They were disqualified, and it was the first double DQ of I don't even know how long at that point in time, but they were all like on planes headed home. Denny had already done burnout, celebrated in victory lane, whole nine, and they deemed that Chase Elliott won.
Okay.
But don't worry. 2023, Denny Hamlin wins. And 2024, Ryan Blaney wins.
Let's go.
This is probably one of Denny's best racetracks.
Yeah.
Historically.
Yep.
Because like when 2023, when he won and everybody booed him, you know, like everywhere, he was like, y'all can boo my rock out here in a few years. because that's like their Hall of Fame, Wall of Fame thing. Is
yeah.
they put like boulders like on the entry of the track that like they'll paint like your name or something, whatever. Yeah. He's gonna probably have. No, I'm not even gonna say. He's gonna have a rock at Pocono.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah. So those are your next gen winners, and we'll let Justin start off this week with picks.
All right. So picks this week for truck, I went with Grant Enfinger. I'm trying not to pick Corey Heim every single week, unlike somebody.
We alternate on when we pick Corey Heim. Let's be honest.
Yeah. No, if it's not me, it's you. And if it's not you, it's me.
And then if neither of us pick him, he wins.
Make that make sense. I don't want to.
Yeah.
But who do you have for trucks? I'm just ruined it.
Yeah. Corey Heim.
Valid.
Yeah. One of two things is going to happen here. One, he's going to win. Two, he's going to finish terribly because he's going to be in a wreck or something bad's going to happen.
Something crazy. That's just kind of how...
A deer's going to jump over the backstretch wall and total his truck out. Like, that's the kind of luck he's had this year.
Oh, my. Imagine that happens.
That would be awful.
Bro, listen. I've hit so many deer in my life that, like, I'm convinced that they're just attracted to my car. So my thought is that if I ever became a NASCAR driver... I mean, first off, I'm too old to become a NASCAR driver. Let's be honest. If I didn't start when I was 6, I'm not going to make it. Sorry. Unfortunate. But, I would be driving at a track and somehow hit a deer. That's my luck. But, yeah. Anyways, so Xfinity, I went with Justin Allgaier. My favorite Xfinity driver. Love him. Yeah, he won here. It was last year, right? Or was it 2023? I can't remember. We talked about that.
Yeah, it was one of the recent years he won here.
He's good here,
Like he's good
everywhere. Yeah, who you got for Xfinity?
I'm going with my favorite driver that just happens to be running Xfinity this weekend. Chase Elliott.
Valid. 100% valid.
I mean, he ran there a few years ago and ran third in the Xfinity car. He has I think he has the second highest average finish in the next gen car at Pocono. If I saw that stat right this week. It was top 5 for sure, but I think it was second.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that the 17 Hendrick Xfinity car is really good. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I also just want to see him win.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him win.
Something.
I'm not a Chase Elliott hater by any means. I started NASCAR as a Chase Elliott fan. Yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. You get just a little preface.
Yeah, since you were like, you know who's not going to make the playoffs? Chase Elliott.
Yeah. Or before, yeah, I should have said that beforehand. I don't hate Chase Elliott. He's a little boring sometimes as a person, but he's a good race car driver. Don't get me wrong. So now we're on my cup pick. Right. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
This was a toss-up. I've changed it 3 or 4 times. I like just going back and forth.
Oh, I thought you were about to say you've changed from what you have. Right no.
I can't change it.
You go for it. I don't care.
Okay.
Breaking news. This just in.
No. Actually, I'm going to go with what I put. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to go with my favorite Cup driver, Ryan Blaney.
Yeah.
He won here last year. It was between him and Denny for me. I went back and forth so much. I think Denny's the favorite on odds and stuff, and then Blaney's second.
I'm pretty sure when I looked.
But, yeah, no, I'm going with Ryan Blaney on this one.
And I'm staying in the Hendrick camp. No.
Daniel would be so proud of you.
Yeah, he would. Shout out Daniel.
Shout out Daniel. Shout out Zip It Up.
I'm not picking Chase. I'm not picking
Shocker.
I really haven't picked him that much this year because I'm a very realistic person when it comes to my fandom of him. I'm not picking Bowman. I'm not picking Larson. Not happening. It's William Byron.
Will he be?
He had a top 10 at Mexico, a solid finish. But you look before that, how many races has it been where, like, he's been up there in the mix or he's dominated and he's just looked like the best car all day and then just can't put the win, put the final piece of the puzzle together?
Maybe it's just the extra turn that throws him.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, we'll see.
Find out this weekend.
Stay tuned.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, typically when you think of William Byron, you think of, hey, he's going to win 2, 3, maybe 4 races early in the year. Summer's going to come. You're going to forget that he exists. And then the playoffs come and he's right back to being good again.
Yeah.
This year, he didn't win as much at the beginning. And now he just looks like one of the probably 3 or 4 best drivers in the series week in and week out right now. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the hot hand of William Byron.
Cool.
Probably going to be wrong, but
We'll see. Only time will tell. Somebody is going to win the race.
and I hope it's not Denny.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
But I think I saw something where, like, statistically, he probably has a pretty good shot at winning just based off of, like, past people that have won a race, sat out a race for whatever reason, and then went on to win the one after it.
Yeah.
And it's
I could see
Pocono.
it. I could see
I
it.
could see it.
But I believe that is
That is all for this week,
all
folks.
for this week. All we've got. So this has been the Checker Chat. I'm Justin.
I'm Blake.
You guys can follow us Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Podcast is also on YouTube. Podcasts, follow, comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and Audible. Can't
Really,
forget about Audible. Pretty much-
Anywhere else that you get a podcast.
yeah, anywhere you get your podcast. All those, comment, please. Give me something to do when I'm bored at work. Please.
Our only comment still to date is you.
Yes. Saying that I can't remember what it was. It was something about Cindric.
Yeah.
1 week. I can't remember. We'll be at Atlanta too. So you guys come by and say hey to us.
Yeah.
If you see us out, don't be scared to come and say hey to us. My just standing around face makes me, I always say that I have RDF.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Sorry.
it clicked after a second.
Those are spinning.
Come up and say hey to us. I mean, me and Blake both kind of have that, unfortunately.
As I look up and I'm just deadpan staring at the camera.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
It's really bad when I'm at work.
Well, yeah, I think everybody's is because who wants to be at work?
True, and to be fair, I'm inside of a 18-wheeler trailer for majority of the day with
Fair.
one light, and then I walk outside and it's like, the sun burns.
I'm melting.
Yeah, but anyways, we will see you guys next week after Pocono. Bye.